Qapla! Warriors of the Empire! And welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command Orion Pirates Mod. I am Admiral Tirak of the Heavy Dreadnought, Dower Slayer, as we continue the end of the campaign to conquer the Hydran Star Kingdom once again for the Klingon Empire. And as you can see, they're down to 3 tiles. Now, these 3 tiles are very well defended. You have a planet and a starbase located here at 413, and down here at 514 is a, just a starbase. So, not quite as deadly as this one, but dangerous. So we're going to go in, because we lost the Vengeance last time poking in at this starbase, what we're going to do is a little bit of commerce raiding. Going to take over these tiles here, split them in half, take things over so that they can't use them. Now we hate doing these missions because it's a convoy raid in the middle of a nebula, so we gain 0 advantage. The ships will be moving at maximum speed anyway, and they have minimal shielding anyway, so it doesn't matter. We are supported by the Culprit. Hello, and welcome to the fight, Culprit. You are currently serving the glorious, fantastic Klingon Empire. They have a light cruiser as their support. It's showing me Marak, but as you can see, that's no Marak ship. Or maybe you don't know what a Marak ship looks like. We'll probably do a Marak campaign at some point. I do intend to move around every single race by the time I actually finish with this game, and then replay it in a couple of different ways. After all, there is a map editor too, so I can set up my own scenarios after a while. Oh yes, I do love playing this game, and I don't mind continuing to play more of it. Although I may branch out into other games, other RTSs, maybe sci-fi, maybe older. Older is definitely sort of more of a niche, but, you know, I enjoy it. Our Culprit is, actually pretty heftily fitted. He's got, wow, 4 G-type plasma torpedoes. Wow! That's pretty impressive, actually, for his size, all things considered. I mean, that's going to be nice. One thing we do have to note, of course, our missiles are not going to be nearly as effective in this nebula. After all, there is the blatant problem of the nebula damages missiles. So when we fire them out, they'll take damage over time, and then they'll be very short-ranged. So we can't just unload everything on one person. My plan at this point is going to be 1 person per MIRV, essentially, and I'll group these launchers up together. This launcher only carries 10 missiles in total. This one carries 45, divided by 4 launchers is, yeah, 10 plus... It's 11 reloads plus 1 extra. So, interesting. How is the Culprit doing? Not bad according to this. I mean, shields we're not expecting to last. He's definitely managed to hurt the, what were you called again? I don't quite remember. I wasn't paying too close attention. The BHDW X1. That's a mouthful. As most X-type ships kind of are. It's sad, but true. X-type vessels generally tend to have really long designations, purely because most of the X ships, and I'm not talking like the full-on proper X ships, the XDDs, the XCAs, not those, but the other ships that get refitted, little X. Yeah, little X compared to big X, I suppose would be the best way to put it. They tend to be very late variants that have a whole bunch of improvements and upgrades made to them throughout the war. It's actually a really cool system about this game. He's clearly doing work out there. And maybe that'll be close enough. Let's see what happens. Where'd our missile go? It died immediately. Okay, could not last at all. So MIRVs are a no-go. How about these? How long will they last? I fired them at a range of 8. So if they last that long, we'll know that's okay. That may be too long for them. Yeah, so range of about 4 is the best that we can hope for. All weapons, please. Interesting. Right on the nose. What? Didn't? Huh? Now you've got me confused. Okay, we're just gonna get in amongst this convoy and start wrecking some havoc. So we're gonna get in nice and close because our missiles probably won't go past a range of 4. We will not select the missiles for this particular run. We're gonna get in close with energy weapons, as most of them have cycled to the on position. Oh, and we are of course running into that annoying habit problem that comes with nebulas. Everybody's got a defense shift of 3. So accuracy is at a premium here. That was enough. We got one of them. On to the next. This is gonna be frustrating. How are you doing? He's really hurting. You're not hurting quite nearly as much. Slow it down a bit. By a bit, I mean quite a lot. So our weapons are not doing nearly as much damage as they normally would because they're not hitting for as much as they do. I think it's a range bracket pushed out that a defense shift grants you. And if that's the case, yeah, it's not really all that surprising that we're doing almost nothing. That should be enough to kill you. Good. Okay. So, just the 2 is enough to kill you. We're going to speed up time because we're pretty much the wolf among the hens. There's nothing really they can do to stop us. Okay, we're going to go through this like water. Missiles like water. So most of the MIRVs do not survive once they've been released. So there's really not much point in using them. But those do. On to the last one. What is that? It's pretty crazy. Missile away. You may not make it. We didn't make it, but there we go. Whew. It's kind of a long convoy assault. Not really. It was an uneventful convoy assault. We had nothing really to shoot at other than phasers and or freighters and watch most of our shots miss. So yeah, tons of fun in that one. 222 prestige. The tile is not taken, however. So I'm going to push out a bit here. No mission. Interesting. Back into the nebula we go for a proper patrol, which makes me sad because I hate doing proper patrols inside of nebulas. It means we have to fight, and fighting in here is bad. Bad juju. It's the Red Blade. I do recall the Red Blade from previous missions. However, probably a different one because it is a pirate ship and they're unimaginative folk. Speeding up to our speed of 18-ish. It varies now because depending on where we nail this phaser capacitor reduction changes how much power we have for speed and the like. We can't prep a scatter pack. We can't launch shuttles in this soup. Also, I suppose actually that would be a good thing that nebulas do for us. If we can fight Hydrogen ships in nebulas, they're not going to be able to launch their fighters out here. That would be good. Just a freighter. Just a freighter. Bro, what kind of freighter? If you got plasma torpedoes, I need to know right now. Okay, it's just missiles. No biggie. We have 5 anti-missile defense systems. So we are going to have to close into essentially point-blank range before we can fire our missiles. Not that I don't think they'll get through. He does, after all, have his own anti-missile defense systems. Selecting all our weapons. Get up nice and close. Everything we got. Lay into him. I figured I had to try it, and it worked when I got through. Nice. So he's really dropping in power. He's lost his phasers, and his missiles appear to still be online. I'm wondering why he hasn't fired them yet. He's lost his shuttle bay, but that doesn't matter. You can't launch fighters in this thing anything. Anyway, so the pendulum is out here. And we're going to pull around to his front so we can bring... Oh no, it's just the AMDs again. Oh, that is such an... It's such an annoying thing. Yes, try that again, I dare you. Double dare you. And deactivate the missiles as we come around. Plasma torpedo range is reduced in nebulas. They deal less damage. It's not quite good. There we go. Was he trying to cloak? I wasn't paying close enough attention. But yes, as you can guess, I'm not a huge fan of nebula missions. I think I've made that pretty clear. But we definitely did enough damage without taking any damage, so that's fine, I guess. Although we have burned through a lot of missiles, so we're starting to get low. Only did 80. They're still holding that nebula. Jeez. And it's a surprise reversed. We must go on this. You are unable to move. You have missions that must either be played or forfeited. We shall play. To full power. Escorted by D5N, the Dirk Slayer is the classic D5 design, which is a sleeker, more cool version. Also supported by the courageous Hi, who is a freighter. He's a FQLR, so he is a Q ship of ours who has decided to join in on the hunt of this one. He's actually not horribly armed. I mean, look at that. He's got 3 missiles, 2 disruptors, and a decent number of phaser 2s. He's not going to hold a candle to a proper warship, but yeah, that's decent, actually. Oh, prep the scatter pack along the way. More power, more power, more power. In fact, all the power. I think we're done charging. So we can spend on all the power. Frigate, 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 and frigate. So nobody really big out there for us to worry about. I know we are capable of doing more speed than this. Oh, maybe once this is done charging, which should be before we hit the speed cap that we've currently put on ourselves. I think we're out of battery power. No, we still got 6 points of battery power. Can I tap my battery power to go all powered engines? No, probably not. I would not imagine that would be the case. But I have heard, I've heard little rumors that X-type ships may be receiving an update in power in the next community edition, such that they'll be able to travel at a faster speed. I don't know if this is true, but that's the rumor. So we will now open up. He's got an F-type torpedo, which is great. That means it can't shoot at me. And that's pretty much all I care about. Scatter pack is ready to rock. So once we get amongst all these people, we can cause as much damage as we want. Overload the X-type phasers, because we're going to want some big crunch damage. And he's got fighters. He's got disruptor-armed fighters. Oh, so he is a... the Dirk Slayer is actually a carrier. Wrong button. I thought I was only selecting the V-types. Slow down. We need to start charging again. You are the next target, the next focus of all things, but we're going to see if we can't watch the pretty explosion that we're assuming that will bring. Whew. It took every last missile from that. Hi. Have you heard the word? And get a little bit closer. Not quite able to kill him. Deselect the missiles. We want to save these for the next guy. You're dead. Now the missiles. They've taken internal damage. MIRVs going out. Now if we get into a proper engagement, I do try and launch the MIRVs first. Because the MIRVs travel at the same rate as the other missiles, but they also kind of stop for a moment when they split up into their full 6, which is kind of a downside. Just a little bit. So if you just launch the MIRV first, it's not an issue at all. But you do want the MIRV to go in first. You do want it to absorb the firepower. Because each missile is so much weaker, it's just the most efficient way of doing it. If you fire it so that the MIRV is intermixed with the rest of your barrage, every time it shoots down a major missile, that's 24 lost instead of 4 lost. So, not tremendous. 300, capture the tile, excellent work. Just sort of zigzagging across this location. It's a data recovery. Wait a second, isn't that what the listening post thing? Yeah. Huh. Who puts a listening post in the middle of this? Put the phaser capacitor down to half. Charge up the energy to combat speed. Escorted by the Deed Slayer. The Deed Slayer being a... check quickly. Oh crap. He is an HF5XV. He's an Alphabet Soup Destroyer. But my main concern is the fact that... okay, OLP is the listening post. You're a Federation battlecruiser. Okay. You're a BCVX. That's an issue. Also, the heavy cruiser over here, and then the one I said, oh crap, this one. She is a fast cruiser. She's armed with 6 photon torpedoes, 2 phaser A's, 4 phaser G Gatling flanking, and another 10 phaser X's. I think that's right. And I think that's right because, well, we used to own one, and we flew in her bigger cousin, the XCA for quite a while there. This is not going to be easy. This is borderline impossible, actually. Some advantages we do have. For example, we're in this soup. So their photon torpedoes are going to be incredibly inaccurate. Did you blow up the listening post? Oh no, graphical glitch, never mind. So sometimes it shows things out of place. The point defense system was shooting something down. So we're in this soup, so that means that they're going to be able to have a hard time hitting things. Unload with everything. Ow. And yeah, there are those flanking Gatlings. Okay, we've passed through. We've taken 3 points of damage. We're now going to... Can we? No, we can't. Okay. Push on to the OLP. And most of our standoff weaponry is not going to work out here. So most of the things we would normally do in order to prevent ourselves from taking too much damage, we can't use. We don't have scatter packs available to us. We don't have anything. So we're going to push on. We're going to try and press for the listening post and do pretty much a run through, because our job is to get to the listening post and scan it and then get out. Fighting these guys would just be added bonus to that. Yeah, I'm sort of holding my breath every time I see a photon torpedo come in. It's not going to deal a ton of damage. I mean, they're probably firing in proximity mode. But, one, he's maintaining 30, 31, and I can't. But also, perhaps more importantly, his photon torpedoes should be rather inaccurate in this. Photon torpedoes are super vulnerable to defense shifts, to ECM, to nebulas, to the point where they won't hit. Like, you'll put out all kinds of power and they just cannot hit. Not reading data. Mission complete. Okay. That's it. We're done. Let's get out of here. What? Did we... It says we completed the mission. I'd love to hear more. Successfully made it to the listening post and transferred the data. Congratulations. Now about the data. Unfortunately, the data gathered from the listening post did not contain anything useful. No duh, it was in the middle of a nebula. But that was enough to flip it. Which we come back in here for some support. Supplies, 123 damage, all pretty much taken in that one fight. X-type cruisers are nasty. We knew this. We flew them. But Federation ones, they take no prisoners. Done with that? Okay. Quick check of the shipyard. Advanced Tactical Heavy War Destroyer equipped with 2 AMDs, 7 Phaser X's, 2 Missile Rack Bs, 4 Disruptor 3s. Yeah, I'm tempted to take you. Or you're not huge or nothing, but you're significant. Oh, but I could save. I could save for bigger and nastier things. DX, Advanced Technology Battle Cruiser. 6 Disruptor 4s, 2 Missile Rack Bs, 11... Nah, that's nothing. Back on the map. I want to take this. I can't take this. Okay. Poke. We're going to do a very cheeky poke. We're going to take a look and then run away. We're going to do that thing again that we did the last time. We're only looking. Ooh. So another fast cruiser guarding the planet. Okay, so there was another ship here, but you can impact on the rings. So I know a planetary mod is being worked on, and one of the things that probably needs to happen is something so that can't happen. I mean, I'm gonna take it because I love stealth capping. I'm all for, like, not really cheating to win, but, you know, taking the easy route when I can. But still, it is kind of frustrating to watch a good fight disappear because the game glitched out. I'll take it. And I know we've all seen me take it. There was that one mission where enemy targeting computers shut down after they wiped out my convoy, and I went ahead and killed them all. But still, to a certain extent, that's not cool. And it also suddenly makes me fearful if I ever do a planetary defense, if I might spawn in that position. That would be awful. To be just murdered by the rings. So I may actually look to see if I can like remove this specific planet from the file. If that's what happened. I think that's what happened. Wrong button. Gosh darn it. I do that all the time. Why do I even do it? I know better. He is an XCF. He does have a considerable amount of firepower. Not like transcendent amounts like an XCA, which has heavy photon torpedoes instead of just regular photon torpedoes. But the real scary thing is those flanking phasers. And you're all about to see what I mean. If you've never seen them before, they're incredible. And he did weasel. So we're going to pull away a bit so he can't use those flanking phasers. And Merv? Oh crap, the Merv got too close before it burst. That's one of the problems of trying to use a Merv in tight. Is, well, they will burst before they can... If they get shot at before they burst, they're pretty much worthless. Did I not? I did not. Okay, so we didn't have one of these set up, which we should have. And we're going to try and hold in on your flanks, although we are in a bit of a precarious situation, all things considered. Because you want us to be here, because we have red shields right now. And that, and the flanking fire. The flanking fire is just devastating. He has punched through our armor with nary a thought. Go to repair. We are down 2 points in power. We do have a PF tender on our side. That's pretty cool. PF tenders, it's not that they bring a lot of firepower to the table, it's that they bring a lot of targets to the table. PFs can't be shot at by anti-missile defense systems, so you do have to actually focus on shooting them. Which is a big deal, as far as I'm concerned, because if you have to focus on that, that's weapons you're not shooting at other things. The planet, I don't think, has long-range weaponry. I'm guessing that, entirely based on the fact that it hasn't shot at me yet. Get it nice and tight right there. His flanking phasers. How many times have we used that in the past? How many times have we used that very same technique of coming in, firing, and then coming around for the flank phasers to rip open the rear? It is such a good strategy. X-ships are amazing. We should buy one. But I'm not sure how the Klingon X-ships would stack up. I mean, we did get into fights against like proper Klingon cruisers before, like XCFs of their own. And they never quite were able to outfight us. I mean, Federation ships, of course, do have a higher damage potential. So we're not going to launch the Merv just yet. We're going to wait till we're nice and tight. So we traded fire there. All missiles fire. He does focus on the Merv every time, I think. Oh no, we lost the Merv. It didn't fire. Crap. So he is really kind of savaging us, especially on the flanks. It's those fly-throughs, it's those phaser Gs. Because they're on the rear, they don't take damage as often when we fire at his front. So they last a while. But with that said, I think we got him. I think we're going to be able to take him here. So put our primary shield up front. He did have to waste his Gatling phasers on that. All up and select. Fire through his front. Oh, wow. Hope this missile barrage does the work I need it to do. It did. Okay, we also took some damage from that. So, oh, wow, we took a significant amount of damage. And the planet does have heavy defenses. So we're going to reinforce the front. We're going to slow down drastically. Select you as a target. Probe away. Probe says you have defenses, sir. I need you. I need you. I need you. Oh boy. Yeah. 8 photon torpedoes. 16 phaser 3s. 2, 4, 6, and 8 phaser 4s. Okay. Well, I can tell you for a fact right now, our MIRVs are not getting through. Our maximum throw weight is 10 missiles in a normal volley. We can up that to 16, but we can't control that many. So that's a moot point. So we're going to have to get involved in a nice long planetary siege. And I am not quite happy about that, because planetary sieges are slow. So, Disruptor select. Not quite in range, they are Disruptor 4s. Speed up time, because this is going to take a while. We need to keep repairing the engines. And make sure that our, yeah, we still have our transporters intact. So quite a bit of power we need to shove into the, quite a few repair parts we need to shove into the repair. Because our warp core desperately, we need all the power we can get. That is the last of the repair engines I'm going to do, though. That's our range. And we're at stop range. A little bit closer. On way at range 20. There we go. So now, all up and select. Deactivate the missiles, because they're not getting through. And this will be the siege. The siege of all time. Now, the key is we need to get a hole. We need to bust a hole open in this. And the moment we do that, then we've got it. We'll just continue to shell the planet until there's nothing left of it. But the trick is getting to that point where there's a hole. And that could take a while. Because, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, that. So, we don't have heavy photon torpedoes to just shell the ever-loving heck out of everything. We're down to essentially just this. Now, we have punched through planets like this before. Actually, I'm going to take a look. How are you doing in terms of damage here? He's actually not hitting us very much. We're going to get a little closer. Normally when we do this, we're flying a cruiser. So we have different expectations as to what's going to happen. So this time we are, of course, in a dreadnought. We're going to stop. I'm just watching how much firepower we can take. I think we can get even a little closer. This is nerve-wracking because one mistake and we may not make it out of here. A little bit closer. Ooh. Planets are big, yo. And it emphasizes every effect. Normally that would be a very little puff on the side of it, but for this, it shows significantly more. Okay. Still closing in close. Getting in closer and closer. How many probes do we got? 3 probes left. Continue to bust out every single bit of firepower that we can. Range of 13. We're going to stop it here. I saw that drop down mighty low. Watching that drop is terrifying. Because if they punch through, we're done for. I don't know how we're going to do this. I'm not entirely sure we can. See what it does. He's going to shoot him down, all down, of course, but... Oh, he held them! He held 4 of them. Oh my god, that worked! Okay. So I've been a fool. I was specifically not using those weapons. Because I didn't think they'd make it through. How foolish of me. They absolutely could make it through. So we're going to bombard with everything we got. I mean, why not, right? Wow! That worked way better than I thought it was going to. I fired the missiles thinking, there's no way. There's just no way. But I was super wrong. So continue the fire. All weapons. Leave nothing left. 4 Federation left, so the Federation was garrisoning this planet for them. Probe. All systems are offline. Another barrage. We are at maximum forward power. A little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. 3. Oh crap! Holy crap. I am 0.24 away from dying. I was not paying attention. I was not paying near enough attention. Oh my god. If we had moved just a little bit closer, we would have blown ourselves up. That's kind of terrifying to me. But we didn't, thankfully. Wow. 495 prestige. Tiles not taken. Empire defense is down to 30. We've got a ways to go. We also need a patch job. But this episode has been going on for quite some time, so it's time to end the episode. I've been Admiral Tirak. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next episode.